Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Finance Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Jen.
I'm Joe.
And today, guys, we are super excited. We have Ryan Pineda with us all the way in Las Vegas, and we've already been getting into some behind the scenes of what he's got going on. And wow, the future is bright for a lot of children. Let me just say that.
There we go.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, today, I've been excited about this because I love your background. I love your story of a college athlete to your couch business. I want you to kind of get into that to real estate and then owning multiple businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just real estate. There's many things involved with real estate. So it's just a great story. So thank you once again for coming on.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess for anyone interested, I'll try and keep it short since we don't have a ton of time. I was a professional athlete for a long time, played baseball my whole life. And that was all I ever wanted to do, got drafted by the Oakland A's 15 years ago, which is crazy. And didn't make any money doing it. A lot of people think, you get rich playing pro sports. And sometimes you do, but really that's like maybe the top 1% or 10%, just like anything else in life. Everyone else is grinding it out in the minor leagues. I was making $6,000, $7,000 a year doing that. So, I had to do other stuff. Mm-hmm. So ended up getting my real estate license when I was 21 years old and tried to sell houses back in 2010. That didn't work. Sold a few, but man, it's crazy in hindsight, but the average house in Vegas was $100,000 back then. So great if you were to buy and hold or do anything, but it was terrible as an agent because no one could buy. There was no listings available. 90+% of homes were in foreclosure. So the banks owned them all. And even if you sold something, you made $3,000. So it wasn't like, it was brutal. So I hated real estate, actually. And I quit after a couple of years and got into other hustles. I just started flipping anything and everything. I was always a hustler. I started flipping cell phones, Pokemon cards, you name it. And then eventually I found I got into couch flipping. And it wasn't like a YouTube thing. It was just like I got married. It was an idea I had after I furnished the house and it just stuck. And I could talk an hour about that. But, long story short, my first ever successful business, I was making $8,000 a month, storage unit, slanging couches, and I thought I was rich. And then eventually at some point, you just get unfulfilled. And I think this happens with all businesses. You're just like, yeah, I've kind of plateaued. I don't really know where this is going to go. I don't really like it anymore. And that's kind of where I was at. And, 2015, I get back into real estate and I start flipping houses. And, I maxed out all my credit cards, all that stuff. And it was, crazy time. Ended up working out. That led to hundreds of other deals that we were able to do over the next bunch of years, which then led into credibility and making content on social media during COVID. And then with content and attention came more opportunities for business. And so ended up starting tons of businesses the next bunch of years. Every single one of them made at least 7 figures, some 8. But, a lot of them ended up fizzling out and not working out for the long haul. Some were based on trends. Some were with bad partnerships. Some just weren't worth my time anymore. Various things. And so, I learned a lot over the last 5 years of being in the limelight with social media and then starting lots of different things to see what sticks. And so in the grand scheme of things now, for the last 10 plus years as an entrepreneur, I've kind of been through all the highs you can imagine, lows you can imagine, like losing millions in real estate, lawsuits, public drama, to then, all the amazing things that have happened too, starting a nonprofit, helping tons of Christian entrepreneurs, making a lot of money, raising a family. We were talking about kids. I've got my 4th on the way here in about a month. So I'll have, thank you. I'll have 4 kids under 6. So yeah, we could take this so many ways of what you want to talk about, but that's like the brief history of a lot of stuff.
Wow, that was awesome. And I think the one word that sticks out to me the most is the fulfillment, right? Because you've done a lot, you've accomplished quite a bit, you've lived many lives if you think about it.
For real.
And so, at the end of the night when you put your head on the pillow, like, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of at this point the fact that I now understand my priorities. I think a lot of entrepreneurs spend decades not knowing why they're doing what they're doing. And I'm appreciative that for me, I got to achieve, like, I don't even want to say it this way, but like my worldly goals very early in life. You know, I got to be a pro athlete. I got to be a big social media guy. I got to make millions of dollars. And, you know, once you achieve all your goals, like live in the dream house, have a family, have an amazing, like, once you achieve it all, you kind of look at the next goal, whatever, you know, anytime you achieve any goal, you look at like, what's the next thing? Like, it's fulfilling for like a second. And then you're like, what's next? And for me, I'm kind of at that stage in life now where it's not like I feel like I've achieved everything. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have achieved so many things and you're still like, yeah, none of it really feels any different than the last. It makes you start to wonder, like, okay, well, what is important? And, you know, for me, I've always been in the faith. And, you know, I've just realized the one thing that never gets old for me anyways is leading people to Jesus. And, you know, like, that's where I derive the most fulfillment. And so then, like, when you start to realize that, you like reverse engineer for that. Versus, like, I used to reverse engineer for, okay, how do we build the most net worth? How do we get the most views? How do we build the biggest business? How do I build my team better? And, like, I'm not saying any of those are wrong, but, like, you just realize that it never ends. Like, you're always searching for the next high.
Well, and I think that comes a lot with your hustler mentality, right? Like, baseball player, you're hustling your tail off all the time,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then you get into entrepreneurship after realizing that being an agent wasn't in the beginning what you wanted to do. Hindsight, looking back, my gosh, if we learned what we knew now, like, life could have been different buying in 2010 and 11 and
Crazy.
9.
It's crazy.
Florida.
No one wanted to buy.
Yeah. Las Vegas, Phoenix,
Yeah.
almost all of Florida. It was all over the news. And these houses that were selling for 300, 400, 500,000 were selling for $100,000.
crazy.
Now, what are those same houses worth today in Las Vegas?
500K, 5X.
Yeah. So when you talk about building wealth, long-term holds are one of the extreme ways that you can do it, and spotting opportunities, boy. So I love that. And your mentality is what's setting you to be successful, right? Which is really key. So were there certain things that made baseball successful, even couch flipping successful, that helped translate into real estate?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, just hustling, number one, right? Most people just don't work hard. They think they do, but they don't. So I would think that, yeah, number one, just work ethic. Number two, competitiveness. Everybody, look, I hate to say this, but everybody's like wants to play this game of like, oh yeah, let's collaborate, not compete. And I'm like, yeah, let's compete. Like, I'm gonna collaborate too. It's not like I can't have friends who I don't compete with, but I'm like, bro, where's the fun in that? Like, there's got to be a reward. There's got to be like something we're striving for to make this worthwhile. You know, like, I love competing. That's why I play golf now. I got to find some way to compete, but, you know, finding the game that you want to actually compete in. And it doesn't have to even be against another person. It can be, you know, hey, like, let's compete. Let's do better this month. Let's get more deals this week than we got last week. Like, I love the spirit of competition. It brings out the best in you, you know? So I think competition really played a role. And then I think couch flipping actually helped me out probably more than anything. And what couch flipping did was it allowed me to learn how to just lowball people. Like, I was just literally lowballing people on Craigslist all day, every day with no shame. And I'm just like, you know, well, you take $100 or you take $50, like, all day, every day. And I learned volume. I'm like, yeah, I mean, look, only 1 out of 10 is going to say yes, but all I need is 1 out of 10 and I'll make a lot of money. Real estate's no different today. Like, you're just going to make a lot of offers. I don't need everyone to say yes. I need one, and I'm going to kill it. And so I think couch flipping helped a lot.
Well, I think you're spot on, because I see that a lot with other investors, that they hear no like 10 times and then they just feel discouraged and they throw in the towel. And in reality, it's all the no's that you said are adding up to that one yes. It's going to be a potential home run.
Yeah, for sure. You got to just put in volume.
Yeah.
Well, so mid 2000 and what, 15, 16, you're flipping houses. You're doing, you know, a handful of houses. And by before COVID, you're doing over 100 flips a year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
my fourth year, I got to 150.
Okay. So obviously transitioning, if somebody's listening and watching right now and you're flipping your first home, holy cow, right? But what was that transition like to go from 1 to 150 in a year? That's like, that's some volume when you talk about volume, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird because every year, like I said, I just set a goal to get better. So I remember my first year, I flipped 5 houses, and I thought that was awesome. I'm like, dude, I killed it. This is great. And I was super proud of myself. And then I came into the next year, 2016, and I'm like, all right, what's the goal here? You know, it's not to do 10. Like, I can do more than that. Let's do 20. And I hit the goal of 20. And by the way, those 2 years, I was still playing baseball. So I say this for like encouragement for people that you can have a full-time job and still excel in real estate. That's the beauty of real estate, is that it's very flexible with any schedule. I mean, I literally was out of the city 6 months a year, traveling, playing baseball full time. And then even when I was here in the off season, I'm training, working out, practicing, doing what I got to do to prepare. So I was able to do 20 deals while playing baseball.
Wow.
And then year 3, I was still playing baseball. And it was finally when I think since you have a lot of W-2, this is good for them. I finally got to the point where it came push to shove, where real estate was now overtaking my job. That was the only job I ever had, was being an athlete, by the way. So at that point, this is 2017, my last season ever. I literally left to go play, and I had like 20 deals. I had like 4 properties that I had just bought, like 4 or 5 that were under construction, 4 or 5 on the market, 4 or 5 that we had accepted offers on. So I had 20 total houses. And I'm over here playing baseball, trying to like do good. And I remember being in the clubhouse, responding to emails and texting and like dealing with all the drama of every property, whether it's contractors, agents, fallouts, loans. I was managing it all. I had one guy helping me back at home, like walking properties. That was his only job. I handled all the administrative stuff. And at that point, I finally like got to the point where I'm like, dude, I can't keep doing this. This is like crazy. In hindsight, I could have hired people if I knew what I knew now. But I was having a terrible baseball season. I was regretting like playing at that point. And then eventually I got released because I sucked so bad. And when you stink it up at your job, don't expect them to keep you if real estate starts taking off. So anyways, that was me. And eventually I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to go full time at this. So ended up going full time at the end of 2017, flipped 50 houses that year, made almost $1 million doing it. It was great. And 2018 was my first full year as a pure full-time entrepreneur. And that was how we got to 150, because it was like, I was kind of half attention, up to that point.
So if you think back, obviously a goal to play in the pro baseball didn't just happen when you're older. Probably had that as a long dream, right?
That was the only dream.
And so this is where I think a lot of challenges come in, because it's all a mental thing. But now you feel like I'm almost giving up on my childhood dream.
Yep.
To pursue real estate. So when you said you were kind of like stinking at baseball, obviously you don't stink at baseball, right? Especially to make it where you went, but
relative to my peers.
Yeah.
Right. But maybe it's because of spending some time focusing on real estate and things like that. So when you feel like you're giving up on your job, which was your dream, what was that transition like during that, getting into this? Because this happened to me. And so leaving that long job that was the stability or what you thought you were going to do, to now I'm pivoting, right? And you obviously made a great pivot to do 150 houses your first year on the business. So you had to have some insight. But what was that transition like?
It's interesting because I see some people who have to make that transition, I would say involuntarily. Yeah. So, for me, that first happened to me actually 5 years prior. So I was with the Oakland A's, and I played 3 seasons with them, and then they released me in spring training going into my 4th season. And at this time, I mean, you got to remember, I'm about to be like a 24-year-old kid. I'm engaged to get married. My soon-to-be wife thinks that baseball is going to be our life, and then boom, it's gone. And by the way, I have no way of making money. At this point, I'm making $7,000 a year playing baseball. I sucked as a realtor, so I quit. I had not figured out flipping couches yet. So this, to me, was like that breaking point that a lot of people encounter at that time. And it was tough. I can honestly say I've never been a person who's been like depressed. I've always been optimistic, even in tough circumstances. Like, I'm just used to having my back against the wall. And that was like probably the one time where I felt a bit hopeless. And I'm like, man, like if my dream's not going to work out, and I literally suck at everything else. Like I didn't make it as a realtor. I didn't make it as a baseball player. I'm about to get married. I have no idea how I'm gonna provide for my wife. Like I don't really know what's gonna happen here. So I think that was that moment for me. Now, what ended up happening was I ended up playing 5 more seasons in other leagues. So I ended up signing with a new team, played, enjoyed it, got married, figured out the couch flipping, which led into the house flipping and everything else I just explained. But, you know, by the time that those 5 years ended, I had played 8 years professionally. So for me, I'm like, bro, I gave it all I had. This is all good. And then on the other side of it too, it was like, and I have a very bright future doing this because I've clearly proven that I can do this at a high level on half effort. So like, I was very optimistic at that point about what I was like, finally, I can give myself to this.
I love the visual that you gave about you being in there emailing on your computer, because I feel like it's a crucial step that a lot of people try to skip, and maybe they don't need to be, you know, doing as much volume as you were doing by themselves, because obviously with delegation, it's very important.
Yeah.
But having that grit to get through those hard times, I feel like is so important. Do you agree with that? Or do you think that you should have just hired everybody else out and, you know, not been sending all the emails?
I think it's good to go through every headache you go through. I think every headache's a blessing. You know, I think that every deal I've lost money on is a blessing. Every lawsuit's a blessing. That's how I look at them. That's just how I choose to perceive them. Now, like, everyone can perceive something different for everybody, right? Like, oh, the economy sucks, rates are high. And, you know, some people look at that and they're like, dude, this is going to kill my business. Maybe people like you who do creative finance might be like, this is great. Now I'm going to go grab me some sub 2 deals or whatever, right? Like it's the same situation perceived differently. So yeah, I think grit is just how you perceive a situation.
Well, and I love it too, because when you're talking about how you're in the clubhouse emailing and talking to like contractors and guys, you do one fix and flip, you're going to know what it's like to have to manage everything. You're doing that many fix and flips while still working at your other job, being a pro athlete.
I know.
It's time management, right? It's time management, but you're also finding the little cracks in your day to move the needle where many other times we're stuck on one of these phones, like just scrolling aimlessly. So obviously it comes down to discipline. You've got an inner burning desire. You have a faith that's helping pursue you through this, which I think is extremely important. And then no excuses. Right? You have all the excuses why maybe you couldn't do this. Like, I'm going to focus more on ball, but you did it.
Someday when I have 8 hours a day, I can get into real estate. And I'm like, no, it's literally like the small cracks of your day. You just find the time.
Yeah. And it's funny, like you bring it up now and I'm like, yeah, I guess that was a lot, but it didn't feel like it, to be honest. Like, it's just, it goes back to how you perceive it. Like to me, I was like, yeah, I mean, dude, I got like 16 deals, 20 deals going on. This is great. And then even now, you know, you're like, man, you must not sleep. And I'm like, I actually sleep pretty good. And, you know, I think about what we're doing now. And it's like, oh, okay. So we're running, you know, these massive events and training thousands of students for real estate. And then, you know, I got my social media and all these podcasts and things we got to do. And then I've got our nonprofit, which has its own things. We're launching Bible studies every single day across the world. You know, we're flipping right now. I was just looking at it. We have like 40 active wholesales that we're doing right now. I'm launching a new golf business. I'm launching my first business in over a year. I'm just getting the itch. And so, you know, like we're going to do that. And I'm missing a bunch of other stuff we're doing. But like the point remains, it should be impossible to kind of do all those things and do them at a high level nonetheless. But I think when you prioritize and you know, get your time management and delegation and systems and all that, it's possible. Now that's like a bunch of big random words for most people. It's like, well, yeah, systems, delegate, process, efficiency, like they're just big words. They don't mean anything, but it's true. Like, I think the simplest way to summarize all this is at any point in your life, we all have the same, like 24 hours, right? And so I think the wisest people in the world who have the most discernment are able to decide what is the optimal use of my time at any given moment. So by being on this podcast, am I making the most optimal use of my time? And when I get off, what else am I going to do? And then after that, what else am I going to do? Like, I can just tell you my current day to this point, I haven't taken a break. I mean, I was on a workshop earlier today. We have a virtual workshop that, by the way, we spent $100,000 to promote in just the last week. So that's pretty important to be on that workshop. Then we have WealthCon coming up. So it's a massive event with 1,000+ people. And they had a 2-hour run of show. And I'm like, do I need to be on this? And so I hop on. I was on it for like 15 minutes. I'm like, guys, no offense, but I'm going to leave this meeting. Like, you guys don't need me. This is, you're talking about lights and video and freaking whether or not we're going to dim the lights at this moment. I'm like, I don't need to hear all this. Okay. You guys deal that. That's cool. It's not that it's not important.
Right.
I just don't need to be there.
Not your job.
No, I'm like, why am I here? This is a waste of time. So I'm out. So then I went and filmed 2 YouTube videos in the meantime. Then I had a coaching call at 1. Then I'm doing this podcast. And after this, I got to do something for this new golf brand that we're doing. You know, it's just like everything. I'm just going to knock out the most important things every single day. And every day is like that. It's just like I've gotten good at figuring out what's the most important thing. What do I say no to? And if I find myself doing something that's not important, I will exit it and just be like, hey guys, no offense, I'm out.
That's why you said you could be here all the evening with us. So I appreciate that.
There we go.
And then first thing in the morning, I did see some of your videos that you were, spending 3 hours. Do you really give yourself every day 3 hours to set yourself right mentally, physically, spiritually?
Yeah. On the weekdays for sure. The weekends might be more like 2 because I don't work out on the weekends. I mainly just do like cardio and sauna. But yeah, I mean, basically I call it the 3-hour rule. And not everyone needs to do 3 hours. I mean, it's just whether it's an hour or 2 hours or 3, whatever, just choose for you. But yeah, like today, I woke up at 5:30. I spent about an hour, maybe an hour 15, reading my Bible, praying, memorizing scripture, journaling. And what's funny is like we have an app. It's called our Wealthy Way app. And so it's like I built it for me, really, but then we give it away for free. But like, if anyone doubts it, they can literally go on the app. Like, there's a streak. It's years of streak. And I do that. Then I walk downstairs. I have a gym downstairs, which is beneficial. And I go work out for an hour. Then I go do cardio for 15 minutes. Then I hit the sauna for 15 minutes. And now it's been 2.5, almost 3 hours. Then I shower, get ready, and boom, I'm ready for the day. I show up at 9 o'clock. I'm ready to go just kill it. And it's like, I just poured into myself for 3 hours, spiritually, physically, emotionally. So I can just now go serve everyone else because I'm good, And it goes back to kind of like, I mean, if I'm not taken care of, I can't serve other people. It's impossible. Like, I can't be a good dad. I can't be a good husband. I can't be a good business leader. I can't do any of those things if I'm not taken care of. And nobody's going to take care of me but me. So It's like, nobody can put in the work to grow in my faith but me. Nobody's going to take care of their health for me but me. So, and this is the other interesting thing that people don't realize, but when you think about life, let's just say there are 4 major areas of everyone's life, right? There's your physical health. So we just talked about that. There's your spiritual health. We just talked about that. There's your business. And then there's your relationships. So for me, I work on my spiritual and physical in the morning. That's basically during that time. Then from 9 to 5, I work all on my business. And then after 5, it's all on my relationships, my family. Like, I'm done working. On the weekends, all my family too. I don't work on the weekends. And, like, I just want to be there for my kids, I want to be there for my wife. I want to be present. And the way I see it is, I had 8 hours to work on my business. If I didn't get everything done that I wanted to do, I just wasn't good enough at business that day. I let the team down. That's how I see it. Like, 8 hours is a lot of time. I should be able to accomplish everything I want to accomplish. And if there's too much to do, that means I need to hire someone. And so that's just how I see it. And, here's the crazy thing. Everything with the other 3, no one else can do it. So nobody can maintain my relationships but me. No one can maintain my health but me. No one can maintain my faith but me. But you know what can run without me? My business. That's the one thing that could truly run without you, that other people can take care of. Other people can build wealth and make better. And yet that's the thing we all focus so much on and acting as if it can't. And then we let all the other things go to the side. And it's like, it doesn't even make sense.
Was there a time that you ever had them kind of backwards?
Yeah, I mean, I think in baseball, that's how it was. I think when I was playing sports, I made baseball my idol. And that was my identity. And it was like, yo, because I was told that growing up as a kid. It's like, bro, you got to sacrifice everything else to become, the top and the best. You're going to have to give up friendships. You're going to have to put in work, all this stuff, right? And it's just not true. You don't. Anyone else who's like thinks that's just not doing things efficiently.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, it's really like you keep on reiterating like time management, right? And having discipline and time management and getting yourself fit. And it's like when you're on a plane, they say there's an event, like put on your air mask first, your oxygen, before you can help everybody else. And so you are living that life. One of the questions I always had, so we're going to fast forward to COVID.
Yeah.
So
such a fun time.
Well, I think about it because that really changed so many people's lives, some for not so good, some for great. I had a job working full time. And that was the point where Jenn was like, you know what? They closed up everything in New York. You're home. We're going to do full-time real estate now. We've already been doing it, but let's go full-time. But in the meantime, you've been doing this too, just like us. But you went and did something completely wild that really grabbed everybody's attention is you went and dyed your hair.
Yeah.
And that put it like, holy cow, like what gave you the idea to even do that?
It put you right on the map.
It did. And then because of that change in your life?
You know what? You're the second person to remind me of that in the last day. I think I need to do it again.
Yep, it's a sign.
For sure. No, I think God speaks in signs many times. So okay, so COVID changed my life too, like yours. At that time, I had about 50 house flips going on. And I was really scared because everybody's telling me that everything's going to crash and burn and freaking everyone's going to die. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like if everyone dies, who buys homes? Like this is a big problem. And clearly that didn't happen. Actually, the opposite happened from COVID. The economy went crazy. People didn't die. Like it's just a normal thing. So yeah, it was a crazy time. And during that time, I just was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do social media. And it kind of came like what you just said with the hair. Like multiple people had just told me, bro, have you ever thought about doing social media? You're a good speaker. You have a lot of valuable information. You've done a lot. You should get on social media. And I was like, I don't know. Why would I do that? What's the point? And they're like, bro, social media people make so much money. I go, who? Who makes freaking all this money on social media that I don't know about? Like in real estate. Like I understand like these big, I don't know, Logan Pauls and stuff. Like I get that. But like in the business world, who does it? Mm-hmm. And so they point out some guys. And so I start watching the videos and I'm like, this guy doesn't even flip houses. Like he doesn't even buy that many houses. It's actually one of my friends, Graham Stephan. And I tell this story all the time. And I'm like, this guy doesn't have a business. He doesn't have employees. He doesn't and he's the guy for real estate. And they're like, he's great. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then Graham does this video about how much he makes a month on YouTube. And he's like, yeah, so I make like 200 grand a month on YouTube ads and sponsors and whatever. I'm like, wait a minute. This guy makes $200,000 a month talking about something with no staff, no overhead, no risk. I'm over here with 50 flips right now and running crews and raising money and doing all this stuff that's infinitely harder and riskier. And he's going to make more than me because he's just netting it all. He has no expenses. I was like, I'm in the wrong business. So instead of being a hater, like most real estate people are, I was like, this guy's got the right idea. And so I bought his course. I bought other people's courses on how to do YouTube. Then somebody told me about TikTok, which was emerging. And I'm like, I think this TikTok thing's going to be legit. Like I watched it for like a day. And back then, vertical short form videos were new. I was like, this is addicting. I think this is the future for sure. So I started making TikToks. I was dancing. I was like doing random crap because I didn't know what to do. Nobody was doing it. There was no blueprint. So everyone was making fun of me in the real estate world and it blew up. It just crushed. And I had hundreds of thousands of followers within months. And I was like, this is nuts. Perfect timing, by the way. Yeah. That it doesn't happen like that today. So I caught perfect timing because everyone's locked up in their houses and all they can do is watch social media. So, for me, I just doubled down on it when it was working. I'm like, well, let's put out more videos. Let's keep getting better. Let's devote my time and energy to this. So, I did that, blew up. And then eventually, when I first started, everybody was commenting on my hair, like just how it is now. And they're like, the guy with the hair, he's got the big hair, And I'm like,
you got nice hair.
Thank you.
Nice hair.
At the time, I didn't have a beard either. And I'm like, what the? Like, I didn't think my hair was that big of a deal. It's just normal to me. I've had it my whole life. But everybody was commenting on it. And I go, you know what? I'm going to give them something to comment about. So I dyed it blue after a year on social. I was like, I'm just going to dye it blue, see what happens. And everybody was talking about it. And then I was like, I'm going to dye it red. I'm going to dye it. And then I just kept dyeing. I did it for years for fun. And
I'm telling you, when you dyed your hair blue, all of a sudden you are on like every algorithm. Like
and every Zoom call we're in, because we're all home, and I'm like, the guy with the hair, everyone's out, you know? So it definitely put your mark on it. And it's interesting to hear the backstory for sure.
Yeah, and people are like, did you do it for marketing, or, you know, how did it affect things? And I just started to mess around with people. I'm like, oh, like red's got 20% more views than blue, and like it, you know, there's this scientific part. I was like, but no, the truth is, I literally just wanted to dye it for fun. And after doing it, like, what I would do is I would dye it, and then it would naturally grow out, and then it would just be black for like 6 months. And then I'd be like, all right, let's just do it again. And then, you know, I dye it again and try different colors, and green and pink and, you know, all these things. And so it's been like 2 years since I've done it, but yeah, people keep bringing it back up. It might be time to bring it back.
Well, you know, it really was an attention grabber. Here you are doing all these amazing things, but like it's about getting attention.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, comment below, what color do you want to see Ryan's hair next?
There we go.
But think about it, how that getting your hair dyed, whatever that costs for their very first time, what's been the ROI on that?
I mean, it was $200, so it was pretty good. I think it probably made it back in the first hour.
And that's the point, right? So sometimes it's taking these chances. It's betting on yourself. It's doing these things and attention.
Let me actually talk about that. A lot of people think, actually, there's two types of people. All right. So actually, I'm going to say there's two types of critics. So there's the negative critics who will look at all your failures, and they'll be like, well, remember that thing that didn't work and that thing that didn't work and blah, blah, blah. Right. Then there's, let's just call it a positive critic who's like, oh, bro, like the hair thing was genius. Jumping on TikTok was genius. You know, like that's crazy that, you know, you thought of that. But the truth is in the middle. So the truth of the matter is, I've literally tried like freaking 20 things, you know, like lots of businesses, hair, TikTok, all these things. Let's just say 20% of them hit, you know, and that's just always been my approach. You know, at the end of the day, I understand that when you're going to do things no one has ever done, you don't know if it's going to work. And so you're going to try it. A lot will fail, but all you need is one to hit. And it's just like a mega hit. And I mean, venture capital is the same way. Like venture capital doesn't look at all their deals that failed. They just know as long as they hit on a couple of unicorns, they're going to kill it. So it's a different mindset than most people because no one wants to fail. I'm just okay failing. Like it's fine. I just understand it's going to happen and it leads to success. And I'm going to keep testing and trying new things. I'm fine with failing. It's all good.
Well, I think that's so important. We were talking earlier before you hopped on to record about homeschooling. And I feel like I was a public school teacher. So I taught English for 8 years. And
my wife did too.
It was bad to fail, right? I was the girl in school who cried if I even remotely got under an 80. And yet here it's like complete opposite. It's like, go try all the things and stop trying to be perfect. And I feel like for whatever reason, you know, growing up in the 80s, 90s, like that was hammered hard into us. And I'm so glad that we can untangle all of those and really this next generation, like allow them to try and fall down and get back up again.
Yeah. Yep. My wife was a middle school English teacher before we had kids. And yeah, I mean, we grew up that way, right? It's like, failing is bad. I think baseball's got me out of that because if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're awesome.
Yeah, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the point. If you find an entrepreneur who told you they never failed, they're either lying or they've never done business, right?
Or they could have did way more. They sold themselves short. They didn't take enough chances.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the point of it too. So there's nothing that's going to be perfect, but you're taking all these action steps. You're learning from hard work. You're learning from some of your wins. You're learning from sometimes even more of your losses, which gets you the lessons of what could I have done better. So after you dyed your hair blue, how many more copycats came out, were dyeing their hair different colors to try to get the same effect you did, right?
A lot of people tried it for sure. And I've had multiple people tell me, they're like, bro, I dyed it because of you. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, good.
I'm like, how did it work? He's like, it didn't do crap. I'm like, okay, well, Well, your hair, number one, wasn't, you just have normal hair. So, it's like my
Well,
hair was
then-
already unique to begin with. And so it just like amplified the uniqueness.
How funny.
Well, I'll send you a picture next week when I go red or
no.
something.
Yeah, it's all good. Do it. It'll work.
But I want to talk about so what's like Rockstar, but like what's business like today? I know you own several companies, you're hosting events, you've got coaching. What is your life like with all of your businesses like today? I know you just mentioned you got 40, did you say 40 wholesale deals actively going right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I have my real estate investing company. So, we're mainly wholesaling now. I probably have like 6 flips going. I just really don't want to flip anymore with the risk and everything else. Once I got burned once when 2022 hit and they doubled rates, I was like, yeah, I'm done having 50 at a time. I did that for like 5 years. I'm over that. So now we just mainly wholesale, do innovations, stuff like that. So yeah, we have that business. We have a fund. So we own apartment buildings too. We actually just closed our first full cycle deal. So we bought a deal back in 22, just sold it last month and got a great, I think we ended up getting like the investors almost a 14 or 15% return. And which we were super hyped about with this terrible market because multifamily is getting annihilated. So for us to do that was great. We have education. So a wealthy investor is real estate education. We've done tens of millions of dollars in that over the years, trained thousands of students. I'm really excited about it today because I feel like it's a much better business for everyone today. Before it was just pure consulting and coaching, which is most education companies. But now we literally give them almost like, I don't want to say it's a franchise because it's not, but we give them a true business in a box. So anytime somebody comes to us now, we give them coaching, we give them softwares, we give them CRM, and we give them leads. So everything they need every single month, we give it to them. And so everything's monthly subscription now. And so we're building that up as a big recurring revenue business. And we'll see where it goes. Maybe we'll sell it one day. Who knows? But now that it's recurring revenue and it's depending less and less on me, it's exciting. So we have that. What else? My nonprofit. So, we have our nonprofit called Wealthy Kingdom. Basically, I make nothing from it. It is obviously like a passion project. It's a nonprofit. But we started that a couple of years ago, and we've had massive, big events. We've had little workshops to help Christian business owners. We launched Bible studies all across the world. Last year alone, we had 3,000 Bible study meetings. So, lots of different things that we're doing there that I plan to grow that really massive. And then what else? A lot of the businesses I've had, I've either sold. So like, I had a real estate brokerage with 200 agents. I had a multi-million-dollar tax firm that we built from zero. Sold those. Other ones that didn't work out. But I was telling you guys, I'm about to start a golf business. So that one's interesting because I love golf. I started golfing 4 years ago to fill the void in my life of competitiveness. And I randomly stumbled upon this business. Like I was just golfing one day and I kind of was getting tired of golfing with the same people over and over again here in Vegas. And I'm like, man, I know like with my fallen, people would love to golf with me. And I'm not like saying it arrogantly, but I was just like, I know people would do it. Like I would personally pay to go golf with Elon Musk or friggin' Grant Cardone or anybody that's like somebody I look up to if they allowed it. And I was like, what would happen if I just let people, like, instead of consulting people one-on-one, just come play golf with me and I'll consult you for 4 or 5 hours. And so I launched, I go, hey, if anyone wants to golf with me, it's $2,500 for a round and ask me anything you want, film it, whatever. I did one story and we sold 20 tickets in a day. I was like, what the heck? This is like way more demand than I thought. So, I kept raising the price as time went on. And then we started doing masterminds too. So I started doing masterminds for like 2 days. So it's like, hey, come to Vegas for 2 days. We're going to golf each day, mastermind the second half of the day, build business. It's going to be great. So those crushed. Then I started doing bucket list trips. So we went to Bandon Dunes, then we went to Paynes Valley. And these people were paying all this money to come on these trips, hang out with other 7-8-figure entrepreneurs, grow and all this stuff. So all in all, I've been kind of doing it on the side for fun, just as I've felt like it. But now we're formalizing it. So it's a golf mastermind. It's actually called Mastermind 19, based on the 19th hole. It's where the deals happen. And unlike normal masterminds where, because I run normal masterminds and there's nothing wrong with them, but it's like you show up to a venue, you sit in the classroom for 8 hours a day, you listen to speakers, you talk amongst each other, then you have drinks afterwards, and that's kind of like a normal mastermind. I've just found it far more fun to go golf with people and build relationships that way and talk about ideas and business that way. But then, you know, after the round, have a true mastermind where it's like, all right, we'll spend now a couple hours like really getting serious about it. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go on bucket list golf trips all throughout the year. We are going to, you know, have an online community where, you know, in between all the events, people can still get to know each other. So I could be like, hey, you know, Joe, I'm going to be in Florida, you know, or maybe I don't even know you yet, right? But I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in Florida on these dates. Anyone in Florida that wants to go play? And you're like, bro, I'll go play. Like, I'm out in Tampa, right? So I think connections will happen that way. I think that the other benefit too is, and I enjoy this personally the most, is like when you're in the real estate world, all you talk to are real estate people. I love real estate, don't get me wrong, but like I get bored talking about the same thing over and over again, right? So the golf mastermind, dude, it's like our last event, we had insurance agents, we had roofers, we had digital agency guys, consulting businesses, real estate business, like so many different businesses. So it's so fascinating. And they're all doing it at a high level to hear what they do in their industries. And then like, I think a lot of my ideas have come from being around those kinds of people and picking things that they do and applying them to what I do. So anyways, you know, there'll be the online aspect, bucket list trips and all this stuff. And so I'm really excited about that one because I know it's a great business. It's already been proven to this point, but I'm excited in actually devoting resource to it, like growing it every day.
Well, and I love that too, because I don't know of any other sport that how many businesses probably started on golf courts, how many business deals have started, how many other things have started on it.
They're perfect.
Plus, it's a great sport.
Mm-hmm.
The synergy of golf and business is so good. I actually got my first private lender golfing, and I didn't even golf at the time. You know, like it was almost 8 years ago. This guy from church invited me to golf. I'm like, I don't even golf, but like, whatever, I'll go with this guy.
But you went.
And I went, and he was like, hey, I see what you're doing flipping houses. Like, how do you do that? And I was explaining it to him. I'm like, well, you know, I get hard money lenders. And, you know, typically right now I fund my own deals with credit cards and stuff for the down payments and the renovations and whatever. He's like, okay, like, are you taking investors? I was like, bro, I would love an investor. Like, if I had an investor, I'd be doing way more deals than what I'm doing now. Like, because I'm capped by my own money. He goes, well, how much do you need? And I was like, the average deal is about $250,000 at that time. And he's like, how many deals do you think you could do? I was like, dude, I could buy at least double the deals I currently buy because I don't have enough money. He's like, okay, I'll fund the next deal. I was like, okay, like for how much? He's like, what do you pay? I was like, well, I currently pay 12% and 3 points to these hard money guys. He's like, I could do that. I was like, but my big problem is I have to come up with down payments and mortgage payments and all this stuff. I was like, so I would need you to come up with like no money out of pocket for me, not up front or monthly. He's like, that's cool. And that was it. That was the deal.
Huh.
And it just was, that changed my life because after that, he funded one deal. It went well. He's like, all right. And this guy's a multimillionaire retired guy. He was like, all right, I'll fund 2. Funds 2. He's like, I'll fund 4. Funds 4. He's like, I got some friends who'd be interested in doing deals with you. Introduces me to his friends. He still funds deals to this day. We have done in 8 years. I mean, I don't even know how many deals. Tens of millions of deals together. I mean, I've made him millions, and he's helped me make millions too. And it all came on the golf course.
One round of golf saying yes when you didn't.
And you didn't even know how to play.
And that was just the first round. Like since then, especially with these golf with me things I've done, oh my gosh. I mean, it's led to so many things. It's crazy.
Okay, so I always believe in inspiration. Since I moved to Florida 3 years, I haven't golfed.
Bro, you're in Florida. You're in the golf capital of America. You have to.
Yeah. Well, this is where I after this conversation, I'm going to get my clubs out and I'm going to start doing. I've got all my real estate friends that golf all the time here, but
bro, yeah.
I absolutely love it.
You know, I'll still...
I hear this business is starting up.
Yeah.
Hey.
By the way, this is a common question people have. They're like, bro, if I come golf with you, like, how good do I have to be? Like, that's the number one question we get.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I go, look, if you suck at golf, your business better be really good to make up for it. That's always my response.
There you go.
That's a
But if
good
you
one.
suck at golf and you suck at business, I don't know, man.
You maybe go back to work. and
Yeah,
start getting out the
you
course.
shouldn't be on the golf course. We need to go fix the
Okay,
business
go spend
side.
3 hours in the morning like fixing things.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
your business, you would qualify business-wise. So we'll work on the game.
I mean, I'm not bad, but I mean, it's just been years since we moved
You
and
just gotta
busy.
go
And
swing the darn club.
I know, you gotta get at
You
it.
just
And
need
I
an
want to.
excuse to do it. Now you would
Well-
have an excuse. You're like, bro, I'm going to play with my boys, in this next trip. I got to step it up.
I love
Mhm.
that idea. I'm gonna be in. I'm gonna get my kids to do it too because
Oh,
I think
bro.
they would absolutely love it.
Golf is the best thing with your kids.
Yeah.
So I live on a course now and I take my kids with me every
Mhm.
weekend. That's part of what we do together on the weekends. For
Aw.
me, I just love golf. So I'm like loving just being out there. But my kids love it too. I mean, they run on the course barefoot, just like having a blast. Like they treat the sand pit like it's a sandbox,
Oh, yeah.
and they make a mess.
Hey, that's what
They're living their
that's what
best
kiddos do.
lives.
So, if an investor's listening right now, they're hearing all of the wonderful, amazing things you're doing. Maybe they're just starting on that first flip, or they're thinking about doing it. What is some advice that you would give that person listening?
So if they're just thinking about doing it, well, I mean, stop thinking and just do. So that's number one. I think, dude, I mean, I can't, if I had $1 for every time someone thought about something and didn't do anything, I would never have to, I'd be a billion, I'd have billions, right? So the first step is just doing and accepting that you might fail. I always tell people this. I'm like, look, if you flip a house and you break even, would you consider that a win? Absolutely. Like the experience and everything that you got from it is going to make you great, from that, right? And yeah, could you lose money? For sure. But if you never take a chance, you already lost. You're guaranteed to lose if you never take a chance. And you will be guaranteed to live a life of regret because you'll always wonder what if. And guess what? I hate to break the news, but as you get older, life gets harder. So, you become more risk averse because you got more to lose. You have less time in life. You can't recover from a loss as quickly. Like today is literally the easiest it will ever be for anyone listening. I don't care how old you are, man. And dude, when I talk to kids in their 20s, I call them kids. I'm not that much older, but when I talk to people in their 20s and they're scared, I'm like, bro, I want to slap you upside your head. Like
Mhm.
you have no excuse for not taking a risk. You could go bankrupt tomorrow and you'll be fine. You have no obligations in life. All right. So if you ain't got kids, if you're single, go take a chance. You have no risk at all. But, I get it. You're in your 40s, 50s, and you got kids and a family. Like, I get it. You got stuff going on. But guess what? It ain't going to be any easier tomorrow or 5 years from now. So if you're going to do it, you have to do it today. Today's the best day for everyone.
I love that. Thank you so much for that encouragement because I think that if someone hears it at the right time, I'm a firm believer that too, like you mentioned, God showing us signs along the way. And
Yep.
if you're listening and you hear this, then maybe this is your sign, guys. So stop sitting on the sideline. It's not going to get easier. And it's always just like one step, one action away, and it's just going to lead to the next one. So Ryan, if people want to find you, where's the best place? I know you're all over socials, but is there like a favorite spot you want to send people?
What's the best place? I mean, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, all that. Look, I mentioned a bunch of things we do. So if any of them resonate with you, go back and listen to the episode, of the businesses I talked about, and we'd love to help you.
And we'll make sure those are all in the show notes too, because you have a lot going on. And if they want to be a part of anything at all, just shoot you a message over there.
Yep.
Do you have a contact we can leave?
Yeah, just DM me on Instagram and you'll be good.
Cool.
And if you're a good golfer,
If you're
Or
a good
not.
golfer, Mastermind 19, you can become a founding member. It's gonna be
or
sick.
if you're a bad golfer, but you have a great business, okay,
No,
you
no.
qualify either.
The motto is it is a private mastermind for high level entrepreneurs who love golf. Not that who are good at golf, but who love golf. You got to love the game.
Game.
And you got to remember, he's going to try to beat your butt in the golf course. So bring your best
Very
game.
We gamble, so for sure, be ready to gamble.
Oh, I already got some ideas.
Oh my
buddy.
gosh. So this was so much fun, Ryan. I hope that we can connect when we come to Vegas. And anyone who's listening, drop us below some comments what you loved about this episode with Ryan Pineda. And until next time, go do some deals.
Thanks, guys.